Hey everyone, I thought I'd do a quick video on some pickups I recently got for my collection to hold you guys over until the next video essay. About once a month I like to stop by my local retro game store to see how their inventory has changed recently. While I didn't get any heavy hitters this time, I did pick up some titles I've been meaning to acquire for some time now. Let's start with the good old Yars Revenge for the Atari 2600. While I don't have the most expansive 2600 collection, this is a classic that somehow has managed to evade me till now. Released in 1982, this would actually go on to become the Atari 2600's best-selling title. It has you controlling an insect creature who can either shoot or eat through a barrier in order to shoot a cannon towards your enemy. On the other side of this barrier lies the evil Kotile, who is able to attack you even if the barrier is unharmed. Overall, an absolute classic that can be picked up for a bargain and should be an easy scoop for any Atari 2600 owner. Next up, we've got Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Sega Game Gear. This was, of course, a Sega Genesis title to begin with that was ported to the very cool but battery-demolishing Sega handheld system. I can only imagine how mind-blowing it would have been to play this game in the early 90s on a backlit, full-color screen when all the other kids had to settle for the much less powerful original Game Boy. There's not a whole lot I could say about this one that hasn't been covered to death by now. It's the classic 2D Sonic in all its glory. If you liked it on Genesis, you'll probably get a kick out of having it portably. Moving on and forward to the 5th generation now, we've got Surfing H3O on the PlayStation 2. Something that I didn't even notice until getting home with it was actually published by Rockstar Games. Yes, that Rockstar Games. I really do miss the days when Rockstar would publish more games than just GTA again and again. H3O is by all means a pretty basic surfing game. You pick your surfer, a board, and off you go. One thing that stood out to me right away was the interesting control scheme. You first need to paddle by mashing the L1 and R1 buttons, then push both analog sticks in to stand up on your board. From there you surf up and down the wave collecting items and pulling off tricks. Honestly, not terrible for a $5 pickup considering I've played much worse games. You can check out my video on shovelware if you want to see me explore that side of my collection. Sticking with the PS2, we've got Rebel Riders Operation Nighthawk. This one is a very arcadey feeling flight combat game where you can pilot 20 different planes that feature their own special weapons. It takes place in the near future and features a conflict between the fictional factions Union of World Nations and Alliance of Independent States. The gameplay definitely isn't going for realism, so if you were hoping for a simulation game, this isn't it. It honestly doesn't feel too far off of Star Fox's R-Wing controls. Again, if you come across this one for a few bucks, it wouldn't hurt to give it a try. Next up, it's Chrome Hounds on the Xbox 360. This one is an early 360 exclusive that back in the day I remember playing at a friend's house. He was my first friend to get an Xbox 360, so it was always cool to see the next generation of gaming in action. Because of my own nostalgia, this game is one that I have been meaning to grab for years now, but kept forgetting to. So when I saw it on the shelf at a dirt cheap price, I couldn't resist. Since it doesn't seem to be very well known, I would consider this to be a hidden gem on the 360. Chrome Hounds is a third-person shooter in which you control a mech called a Chrome Hound. This is a medium to slower-paced tactical shooter that lets you heavily customize your mech. Back in the day, it had a very passionate group of online players, but unfortunately ended up flying under the radar for most people. If you see this one, I definitely recommend checking it out for yourself. Now, I've been on a bit of a PS3 kick lately, and I feel like now this console isn't getting a lot of attention from collectors. This is a great time to pick up PS3 games for low prices before they inevitably go up in the next few years. Let's take a look at Vanquish, made by Platinum Games. This is a super stylish third-person shooter that has excellent feeling movement and super fast-paced gameplay. This is a title that I downloaded the demo of back in 2010, and the demo ended up being so good I would just play that over and over. So I figured I should probably finally grab this. If you're a fan of fast-paced action shooters, then you'll absolutely love this game. The best way I could describe it is as if Bayonetta was a sci-fi third-person shooter, and I mean that in the best way possible. Also on the PS3, we've got BlazBlue Continuum Shift. If you aren't familiar with BlazBlue, it's a 2D anime fighting game from Arc System Works, the makers of Guilty Gear. This is just one of many games in the BlazBlue franchise, but like I said, I'm on a PS3 Kick, so I got this one. If you like beautifully detailed characters and gorgeous animations, this is for you. There's a pretty large story mode with branching paths for all the characters. If you're new to this franchise, or just fighting games in general, there's an excellent tutorial mode that walks you through how to play the game, as well as a challenge mode that teaches you the combos for every character. Finally, I picked up Tekken Tag Tournament 2 for, you guessed it, the PS3. Anyone who knows me knows I love Tekken, but I haven't ever played one of the tag games. This one gets kind of a bad rap in the Tekken community, but so far I've been enjoying it and pretty much feel right at home. It has a pretty sizable character roster, and the graphics are very good looking for this generation. Really don't know what else to say other than that it's on the Wii U as well, and I might have to get that version for my growing Wii U collection. That's it for now. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments if you like these games or are planning on picking any of them up yourself. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. It would mean a lot to me. When I hit 1,000 subs, I'm going to do a full game room tour, so you won't want to miss that. Until next time, thanks for watching.